Accept me. Or leave me. Accept me. Don't reject me. Accept me. Don't leave me. Accept me. Don't reject me. Maybe we can look inside and swallow all our selfish pride. Accept me for who I am. I can't be you. You can't be me. We can live together in a harmony. Accept me for who I am. I accept me for who I am. I accept me for who I am. I accept me for who I am. Accept me for who I am. I can't be you, you can't be me. We can live together in harmony. If you just accept me for who I am. Ever since I met you, you've been trying to change me. Well, I'm tired of doing it your way. This is all I have to say. Accept me for who I am. I can't be you, you can't be me. But we can live together in harmony. If you just accept me for who I am. Accept me, accept me, accept me, or leave me. Accept me, accept me, accept me, or leave me. Accept me for who I am. I can't be you, you can't be me. We can live together in a harmony. Accept me for who I am. I accept me for who I am.
Started reaching out to some people to see if we could do a show. It was right before election time. We did an election show, and since then it's been such a wonderful, great show. We've had some amazing guests on. To see if we could do a show. It was right before election time. We did an election show, and since then it's been such a wonderful, great show. I have feedback here. I can hear me here. It was right before election time. An election show, and since then it's been such a day. Yeah, but it's on. It's stream. Oh, it should be. You do the feedback now. Oh, I got it. Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. This is a. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Sheila. Hey, everybody. Hey, guys. Hi, all of you guys watching on YouTube. Hello, hello. Hey, Kevin. Wait, babe, how do you mute it? Hover over it. What is it? No, this is the live, I believe. Oh, maybe it's the Facebook. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, it is Facebook.
Right click on Facebook. Anywhere in the video?
No, it's muted.
Pause.
Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm trying to figure out. Sorry, guys, technical issues, but we're working on it. We're working on it. 1 second. Sorry, guys, technical
You in
issues.
the Facebook tab? It was
There we go. Okay, awesome. Got it, guys. Hey, so we're back. Sorry about that, guys. So, I was actually going to do this whole introduction and talk about, some things that have happened this year. It's been a great year for the show. We started this show on November 19th. And so far, we've had an amazing, amazing time. This is the season finale of the show, but that only means that I'm going to be taking a break for the holidays. As you guys know, I've had a lot going on. I was on tour with the musical for a little while, and I've had a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break for the holidays and, spend some time with my husband and do some holiday things. And then we'll be back again next year, fresh and new, with this new setup, and things will be much better. We do have a producer, and I want to introduce you guys to him. I have a producer now, guys. He's a great friend of mine. We have been friends for a very long time, and all of this awesomeness that you see here, he's the one that's building it, and I'm super excited about him being here. Everybody welcome David. Hey, David. Welcome to the show. Can you hear me, Dave? Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate everything that you're doing. He's working hard to make this a great show, guys. So like I said, I had a whole plan of doing this whole introduction and stuff, but you guys didn't come here to hear about me or hear about my year and all that stuff. You guys actually came here for Buck Angel anyways. And he is a very busy man, and so I'm so grateful that he took the time to decide to come on our show. And he has a lot of stuff that he has going on. So he's not going to be able to spend very much time with us today. So we are grateful for the time that we are going to be able to spend with him. So we're going to skip for now. We're going to skip the year in review, and maybe we'll go back to that afterwards. Also, I just want to let you guys know that if you're in the Orlando area, after the show, my husband and I are going to be going out, kind of a date night, but we'd love to hang out with you guys and see you if you're in the Orlando area. We'll be going out to the Parliament House to catch the 10 o'clock and the 12 o'clock shows. So if you're in the Orlando area, come on out and hang out with us. Hey, everybody watching on YouTube. Hey, everybody watching on Facebook. Hey, all of you guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It's going to be a great show. I'm super excited. Hey, Ken Terrell. Hey, Monique. What's going on? Thank you guys all so much for watching. It's going to be a great show. As a matter of fact, Dave, do you want to go ahead and see if we can get our guest on? You guys came to see Buck Angel, right? Hey, if you're watching right now, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you might be watching at right now, well, if you guys would do me a favor and share this video. Share this video and let everybody know that we're going to be welcoming Buck Angel to the show in just a moment here. Hey, come on over. Come on over, come on over, come on over, guys. Trying to see. All right, guys. And if you are on Instagram, on Buck Angel's Instagram, he probably shared this on there. Hey, Cece. Hi, baby. Hey, Michaela. I had to refresh there, but I just got your messages. How are y'all doing? Mwah, 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 mwah. Thank you so much for watching. Awesome, right? So what do you guys think? Tell me, what do you guys think about the set? What do you guys think about this new set? Pretty cool so far? Awesome. We're playing with it. We're trying new things. So I'm super excited. Michaela, my baby, that's my sis. I love you to death. Hey. Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and try to get Buck on so we can, ask some questions. I'm sure you guys want to hear from him as much as I do. That's what we're here for tonight, is to hear from Buck Angel. So I just want to give you guys a brief introduction for those of you guys who might not know. Buck Angel's message of empowerment through self-acceptance and encouragement of everyone to be comfortable in their own skin has struck a passionate chord with people across the world. As he demonstrated in recent appearances at Yale, Cornell, and many other universities and events, Buck does inspire. He inspires people to think outside of the box, and he's educating an entire generation on the fluidity of sexuality and identity politics. He's an awesome guy. Hi, Justina. Hey, Robert. Hello, hello. So for you guys who don't know who Buck Angel is, after this episode, you will definitely know. We know him as Trampa. So you guys will know who he is after this if you don't know who he is. But I had a chance to briefly speak with him earlier. He's such a nice guy. He is on a time limit, so let's get him on here and let's talk to him. What do you guys think? Dave. Dave. Hi. Hey, do I just call like I do, or do you call? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so learning. Okay, there we go. Add to this call. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get him on. App.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there, there you are. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Dave, are we good? Can we see him and me? Okay. One moment. We're just trying to get everything set up. How are you?
I'm okay. Busy, busy, busy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm finally getting a little bit of a break. So that's what I was telling you earlier. I understand when you say you're like busy, busy, and I completely get it. I like your hat.
Thank you, my friend. Wait, so
Kind of started off, my husband came out of the shower one day and he's like, babe, you should start a talk show. And I was like, meh. And so I reached out to some people and it was right before election time. So I had some friends that were running for different offices and stuff. And I was like, oh, how cool would it be to bring them on and let's start off that way? And things just kind of started rolling and people began sending me requests to come on the show and stuff like that. So here we are, 4 months later. I can't believe it's been 4 months already.
no, it's because you have passion for what you're doing. When you like what you do, it's just not a job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And I have some questions for you, but I just want to make sure that we have you on the stream. David. He said we're getting there.
Okay.
Please forgive me as I enjoy my medication.
I'm a medicator too.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
I have my own company.
Huh?
I have my own cannabis company.
I know. I was actually researching earlier. That's really cool. That is
Yeah.
so neat. So what was that like? What was it like getting that started?
Well, it was very difficult because, I did it. My company's 3 years old, and I did it before the gold rush kind of started. And I did it because I knew so much money was going to come into it. And nobody can get into the business now, not unless you have millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I knew that. I saw like the future of it, and I saw us, meaning our community, meaning people of color, meaning all the people who've been in the business, getting totally taken out of the business. And so I'm a white dude now. So I fucking was like, I'm going to take a piece of this action and I'm going to give it to my family. Because if I don't do it, who the fuck is going to do it? So now it's ours. It's not mine. It's ours. So now I get to hire all of our people, create jobs for our people. The future is us.
How awesome. How awesome is that? That is
It's
so
awesome.
cool. So you definitely, so CC, one of our viewers says you're definitely a hottie. And that was actually what I was going to say is like, the reason why I invited you on the show was I had started to follow you for a while. And I've been following you for a long time, but I really started to follow you probably within the last year or so. And so a friend of mine out of the blue one day, she was like, hey, you should reach out to Buck and see if you can get him on the show. And I was like, shot in the dark, but let's try it. And when you responded back, I was like, oh my God, this is huge. Because like, I'm married and I'm honored. I'm married, but I think you are just so hot. My husband knows that I think you are so hot. Like
That's okay. You can be married and think I'm hot. It has nothing to do with
Agreed.
that. everything.
Agreed, 100%. But yeah, all of my girlfriends, I think the consensus is hell. All my girlfriends and my guy friends, the consensus is that you're pretty hot. So
Right. Thank you. But I want to tell you though, here's the deal. The fact that you reached out to me is an honor for me. It's not in anything other than the fact that me and you are in this together. I don't only take interviews from people who are super famous. In fact, I would take your interview right now until you become super famous over anyone who's, because your audience is a different audience right now who possibly haven't heard me, number one. Number two, if my place in the world can help you grow to a bigger voice, it's my job as your family member to help you take a step up.
wow.
It's just how it works. When you get to be super famous, you have to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
As we grow in our visibility and we become, you cannot turn away from your people. You have to turn around, and that's the lesson we must teach our family. We're losing that through social media. We're losing everything. We're becoming me, and not us.
Amen. So true. So absolutely true.
Yeah.
So I know that you travel a lot and you do a lot of speaking at Cornell and Yale and a lot of the universities, and you're always at events and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about, you're just as passionate, if not more passionate, about our community and about making change and continuing to move forward as I am. So tell us a little bit about your passion and where that comes from.
So I mean, I'm an old tranny. I'm an old motherfucker. I'm 56. I transitioned over 20 years ago. I went through hell to get where I am. But the one thing that I always remember was my community was with me. Whether it was my dyke community, whether it was the gay man's community, whether it was the leather community, whatever it was, community has always been very important to me. And so what I noticed in the last maybe 5 or so years, as transgender started to grow into something just bigger, I noticed that we all started to disconnect from each other, and we all started to hate each other, and we all started to talk shit to each other, and we all started to be so negative and gross, and we are all looking for fame. I see it. And then by having this idea of fame, you're losing reality. And so I just was like, holy crap, this cannot be happening. So it is why I started to really talk about community much more, and talk about, when I talk about us. I don't always necessarily say me or my. I really make an effort to include, as I speak, all of us as one family in one space, because people hear that, right? If I were to just be all like, well, I did this and I created this and I did this, boring. It just gets boring. Who the fuck cares? It's not about what I did. It's about maybe what I did to create a bigger space for what we can do. That would be our message. Your radio show will now create a voice not only for Black, right, for people of color, trans women, which is fucking huge and awesome. No, I really commend you for that, because there are people in our community who don't understand the power of just creating a platform. You know, you're not getting paid $1 million to do this. It might not even be bringing you any income right now, but you're taking the time and energy to put yourself out there, and that will create change. And that, my friend, is a huge fucking lesson that the rest of this community needs to see.
Absolutely.
Ah.
I appreciate that so much, because, and I know that you know the feeling. Sometimes you feel like, is my work in vain? You know, like, am I doing this? And especially when you're trying to start up something like this, and it's hard to get people to start initially viewing you. They don't know who you are. They want to know about you. And then so in the back of your mind, that there's always that voice that's like, just give up. But then, like, my passion's like, hell no. Like, go and keep going, you know, like, and I'm going to reach out.
You thought it, my friend. Look, you think that I'm sitting here as someone who's known in the world because I just was like, well, I fucking been doing this for 19 fucking years, showing my vagina all over the world, like just having sex and doing everything I could do to get myself out there. And that's a very difficult space to sort of transcend. I came from pornography into more mainstream. Very few people do that. But I realized what I was talking about was bigger than pornography. I was talking about our bodies, and some of us don't get gender affirming surgery, whatever that means. I don't even like that phrase, gender affirming surgery. I think that's really a wrong thing to say, because it just really places so much emphasis on our surgeries, and that not everybody will be able to have. So when you make it gender affirming, it's like, so the people who don't get surgery are not gender affirming. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's these things that are happening in our community that I think are tearing us apart, and also not creating a space for all of us.
I agree 100%. And I what I'm loving about what you're saying is your inclusion. You're all about inclusion, and I am too. And I think that something that I'm learning is that for a long time, I was even one of those people who had a box over inclusion. So like, I was like, okay, so all included except for, or all included but, and then I was like, wait a minute, if there's anything after all included, then it's not all inclusive, you know? And like, so my passion has literally become everybody included. One of my best friends says all the time, she's like, one thing about you that I absolutely love is that you will fight for anyone. It's like, it's not just a pro-black thing, a pro-gay thing, a pro-trans thing. It's a pro-human thing for me.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's why I love you. I knew I loved you.
Got it, my friend, because like, everyone talks about inclusion in our community, and they don't even understand what inclusion means. Everyone, not picking and choosing who or what, even cisgender people. We have people in our community who keep talking shit about cisgender people. That is horrifying and wrong, and actually really exactly what they do to us. You cannot do the same thing. You're not setting an example. You are actually falling into the same bullshit trap that some cisgender people are. Not all cisgender people are shitty, just like not all transgender people are shitty, or all, right? Like, inclusion means all of us. All of us.
Everybody. Absolutely. Yes. For sure. So like, so when did we know that you did do to porn. Let's talk a little bit about that actually for a little bit. What was that like? First of all, being a trans man, and in the time that you began doing that, it was like, nowadays, trans men are becoming more visible, much more visible. But in that time, it was almost like
nothing.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly. So what was that like? Tell us how that happened.
Well, it was super difficult because there were no trans guys. When I transitioned, both of my doctors had never worked on a trans man. I was their guinea pig. So really, I am an experiment. And that said, then I started to see pornography and work behind the scenes with a lover that I had, creating domination videos. And then I started working for a trans woman. This was 20 years ago. And there was no transgender porn, male porn. It was all trans women porn. You know, chicks with dick, lady boys, all of that shit was huge. And I was like, wow, there's no men like me in porn. No one, nothing. In the whole porn world. And I was like, it just fucking came to me. And I was like, and immediately I played off chicks with dicks and I went man with a pussy. And I was like, that's how I got the idea. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to be Buck Angel, the man with a pussy. And no, people freaked out on me. The trans male community was angry at me. The porn world was angry at me. People were writing me death letters. We're going to kill you. You're a freak. Like, honestly, it was totally insane the way people reacted to me. And they acted like I was the Antichrist. They were like, you know, seriously, it was horrifying what I went through to get where I got today. But that said, it's the reason why I am who I am. It really is the reason why I succeeded and why my work today is still looked at as something so progressive, because nobody did it. Yeah.
And you are the name that changed the idea of what sexuality and body types, and you are that name. When I think of and which is crazy because of course, there are people who still condemn pornography and sex work and those things. And so, and I have to say, I grew up in a very religious household. So for a long time, I had been fixated on those things. I had been brainwashed, really, into believing in the binary system and like, you know. And so it took me a long time as a trans woman to come out of that myself, because I used to be so self-hating. I can think of times when I used to say some of the most self-hating, ridiculous things. And I remember seeing you in a porn video once, and there was something about it that changed everything about me. Like, you were so proud to be you. Like, and there was just something about that. And it's crazy that it was a pornograph that, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
That's
I do.
crazy.
It is crazy, but here's the deal: you're not the first person who said that to me. And they, you know, you don't watch my porn. It's not, you're not turned on by watching it. But there's something about that, and I know exactly what it is. You're feeling my freedom of what society has told me I will never be a man. And what I did is I proved to the world that I am a man with a vagina. Go fuck yourself. And that is what you're hearing from me. And that's why I believe in visibility, my friend, and why it's important for you to be here. Because it's important for you to show the next person that you can be whoever you want to be. Every time we put ourselves visibly in front of this camera and to the world, there is somebody seeing you and somebody hearing you, and it will change their life. It might save their life, actually.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because that's the goal. Like, at the end of the day, that's the goal.
Yeah.
I tell people that, and I'll continue to say it, that like if I have one viewer per week, and that one viewer takes anything away from this show, then I've done what I was supposed to do. And that's it. And that's why my goal is to keep this show about us, and to keep this show but open, because of course I want to be inclusive, but I want a bunch of different opinions and ideas, because I think that that's how we start conversations. When conversations begin, then that's when things start to change. Yes. But if we sit in our corners and we're like, I believe this and I believe this, and then, you know, we're sitting in our corners believing what we believe, then nothing's changing, you know?
That's because our community has taught us not to have an opinion. They've taught us that we all have to think alike, that if we say things that are not politically correct or triggering, that we're not allowed to say them. Again, I know this is YouTube. I'm not allowed to be going all F word. But that said, the F bomb. Listen, if we are not allowed to voice our own opinions, whether you like it or not, then what are we? We've just become a cult. That's cult behavior. When you say to me, Buck, you can't say that because it triggers me, I can either say, well, dude, or ma'am or whoever, I'm sorry. Or I can say, you know, I think it's really important that you look into that trigger. Because I'm going to be the only person saying that. There's going to be another person and another person.
Absolutely.
We're babying our community, and we're creating a community that's ill, that's mentally ill, that is not focused and functioning. Because when you give people that word trigger, you have given people victimization.
Amen.
And victimize themselves with that.
And we are quick to use it. Our community is quick. And I mean, not just against each other, but again, in any type of a conversation, any type of a setting. And then we wonder why people are confused, or why people are afraid to start a conversation. Because when they do, it's like an attack. It's like...
They do not. And here's this other part of this gatekeeping part of our community. It is unbelievable how they tell people not to ask us questions. Look, you might not want to answer any questions. I'm pretty much the guy who will answer every question. So we need to tell our community, stop making that blanket statement. You might not want to answer the question,
but I don't mind.
I want to answer it. Because if we answer the questions, they will no longer ask the questions.
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely
stupid. It's just what we're doing is we're blocking information. And when you block information, you do not move forward. And so we do not educate. Who else is going to educate the masses about trans people? Nobody. Only
Except for trans people. But then, and then here's the other thing. But then when someone who's not trans or someone who's cis gets a role in a movie for a trans person, then we want to jump in and talk about, well, let us represent ourselves. Like, wait, what?
Wait, what? It's
Right.
like, it's as if we have had our head in the sand for 500 years. But I'm telling you what it is. It's an entitlement, and it's a younger generation that's doing this, of entitlement, and they're coming to their transition as something that they are entitled to, not something they are grateful for. And when you have an entitlement with anything in your life, you turn into an asshole because you think everything is yours and that you are entitled to it. If you don't come to your transition with gratitude and gratefulness, you will miss everything because nobody likes to be around entitled people.
Absolutely. And remembering that there is a whole generation of people that got us to where we are, and respecting that generation of people. I see so much disrespect to older trans people today that it's like, are you serious? Do you have any idea that it's those very people are the reason why you're able to walk around freely and do it, why you're able to work where you work and sleep where you sleep? And, you know, like, it's those people. And I'm one of those people. I'm 38 years old. Like, I came up in the time where it was, you know what I mean? Like, so when I hear that, I'm like, you have no idea what it was like when we couldn't walk into a job and tell them we were trans.
Exactly.
Like, you hope that you passed, you know, or you had to work the streets.
Or you had to work the streets, or I have been too. So the thing is, these kids really don't understand. The word trans is such a word that's been accepted in our vocabulary now that before nobody would ever even understand that, let alone could you walk into a doctor and say, I'm trans, I want to take hormones, and then you just get your hormones.
Right.
Wow. I mean, I have a lot to say about that, but we can get into that discussion later. It's too easy. It's too easy. You know, there's a difference between making something easy and making it safe.
Right.
And there are always steps, always, within whatever kind of transition you are making in your life. If you're going from a person who is always depressed and really trying to get yourself into a positive space, it's steps that you do. You don't just go from A to B. Why are we not doing that with transitioning? People need mental health care before they start to actually physically change their bodies.
And it used to be like that. It used to be where you had to do that.
They call it gatekeeping. So the youngsters call it gatekeeping. And I'm like, gatekeeping, it's called actually dealing with your mental health before you move into physical change. There's no gatekeeping at all. It's just taking care of your mental state to make sure that this is the right. I had to do that. I had to go through a whole rig of, I had to get letters signed by doctors. I had to do a whole bunch of mental health care. I had to live as a man in a woman's body for a while before. Yeah, I had to do that whole thing before I could even start taking hormones. So, and thank God I did. I really believe it's why I'm so grounded around my transition, 100%.
Absolutely. And I worry about the, like you were just saying, I worry about the mental health of the young girls today because so many are not doing it for the right reason. And there's so many of us older people who are not willing to say, we'd rather be quiet than to actually say, hey, listen, I don't think, you know, I want you to look into this a little bit more. I want you to make sure this is what you want. Why are you really doing this? Instead, we're like, oh, girl, go get you some work done in the hotel down the street and go start you a show. And, you know, and it's like,
No, I know. But I know why we're scared. I know why, because they make us feel uncomfortable. If we say anything like this, the kids say to me, I'm gatekeeping. And they say to me, oh, you're just an old, crusty man. Blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, I'm old. That's 100% I am. But I have experience. I'm not blowing shit out my ass. It's like, like this is I'm a real old tranny. I've been around for a long time, dude. And it's like, I would have given so much to have the voice of an elder. when I was transitioning, only as a means of being able to see myself in the future, just having some kind of, in a sense, a mentor and somebody who I could feel secure around. That's the only reason I do this now. No other reason. I do it so the kids, there are kids out there who need us, who feel secure with having older generation and they see their future. So I highly encourage you, well, you are, as visible as you are, for the younger girls. It's so important that you do that, and I really commend you on that.
Well, thanks. I as a matter of fact, since we're speaking about that, one of the viewers we have is my brother, my trans brother. His name is Cameron, and he absolutely looks up to you. He is on the path of becoming very much like you. He loves the advocacy and activism, and so he wanted me to definitely tell you hi, first of all.
My friend.
And then he agrees with what you were just saying. And he also said that so many young guys are exactly the same. I was just talking about the young girls, but he said this, a lot of the young guys are exactly the same as well. And like, I don't like to speak on trans guys' experience because that's not my experience. I can only tell you what someone has told me. Like, I have my brother, we lived together for years. So, like, the things that I've learned from trans men, but I'm not a trans man, Yeah. So I completely understand that we share a lot of the same experiences, for sure.
Of course we do. Just our gender is different, but really on our experience of being trans, again, I don't know if you know, but I actually identify as a transsexual man and not as a transgender man. And I do that. Yeah, so I do not identify as a transgender person. I identify as a transsexual person. And I want to also let your listeners know this. The reason why I consider myself a transsexual is because that's really where I came from. I came from the space of transsexual before transgender. Number one. Number two, I equate a transsexual person as somebody who actually has gender dysphoria and actually goes through an actual sex change. I was born female. I transitioned to male. I live my life as a cisgender male. I do not live my life as a trans person. I wanted a sex change. That's what I had. That is totally different than transgender, which is an umbrella term for all these different types of gender variation. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not a variation of anything. I'm pretty straightforward man.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So also,
and I definitely can appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. It's a problem within our community, though, because they say transsexual is an antiquated word. It's disrespectful. It's like I'm like, what? That it's an insult. I'm like, wow, who said that? And why would you say that?
You're like, that's me.
It's me. It's an actual term. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there real quick, that I do think there's different terminology for different spaces that I do consider myself in a sense a cisgender man. That's really what I want to be. I want to walk the world as a man, not as a trans person.
And I absolutely understand that. And I'm actually the complete opposite. I prefer to be a trans woman. Like I love the fact that people know that I'm a trans woman because I think that's only because for me it comes from the religious background root. Yeah. I feel it's sort of a sense of I'll show you that I can be this and still be this as well, So for me, I think that's what it is for sure.
And I appreciate that, and that's the way we need to be. You respect my identity, I respect your identity, and that's how we move forward. I don't care however you want to identify. I respect it and appreciate it 100%. But this idea that we're telling other people in our community how to identify is shocking, especially from where we all come from, where we're already getting that from the outside world, and now we're doing it to ourselves. Like, who does that?
Right, absolutely. So, what's coming up for you next? What should we be looking out for? And tell us about your website and some of I know you have some products on your website. Tell us about some of that stuff.
So mostly what I'm doing right now is really diving into the sexual wellness industry. And so I created the world's first transgender male sex toy. It's called the Buck Off. And it's basically a masturbator to help transgender men who still have vaginas masturbate so that they can actually have an orgasm with their vagina, because I want them to feel themselves sexually before they make a choice to do surgery. Because sex is everything to me. It changed my life. It created a space in my body that I feel, that's the only reason I'm connected to my body, is through sex. And I believe that the trans community really shames itself around sex and around really creating a space for our bodies. And I think that we don't talk about it enough. I think that we shame each other for our genitals, or if we talk about our genitals, or if we want to have sex. It's like a weird thing. So my focus now is really creating a space in the world for people, not just trans people, but to start to celebrate their bodies sexually, because we just have lost that space. And we don't talk about sex as a positive thing. So that I'm working on, I have a whole line of sex toys now that are specifically geared for transgender men. And I got into the cannabis business, and I opened my own cannabis business. That's the first and only LGBTQ focused cannabis business in Los Angeles. And I work directly with the center in Los Angeles, the Gay and Lesbian Center, Senior Center, where we give money to help build the shelter for homeless seniors. So we're building a whole complex. We have homeless seniors. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. We have homeless veterans. So
I know. Don't get me started on the veterans. That's another reason why I started the cannabis business, is so that we can start to work with veterans, especially our veterans, LGBTQ veterans, trans veterans. They need medication. They're not getting their medication. It's unbelievable.
it is. It's sad. It's ridiculous.
So vets. Oh my God. Are you a vet?
I'm not. But my husband has a passion for vets. He does a lot of work for his parents were firefighters, so he grew up in that era.
Oh, thank you for your work. We cannot forget our vets. We're the only country in the world that treats our vets like like they're sick, like they have some kind of like, it's unbelievable. We have no health care for them. They're sitting out here in Los Angeles on the streets in front of the veterans, and like people just drive by. Like, really? I mean, yeah, I can't get started on that, because honestly, it hurts me. It hurts me.
Listen, I'm sitting here thinking, God, there's so much more I want to talk to you about, but I know that we're on a time schedule today, and I
do it again.
Absolutely, I was going to say I definitely want to have you back again sometime. We're starting up season 2 next month. We'll be back running again, and then I'll be in touch with you. I definitely want you and I to stay in touch. I think that there's so much more that I have to learn from you, and vice versa, maybe. You know.
And I need to learn from you. And I'm telling you, I'm going to bring up color, because color is really important. If this goddamn country is racist beyond belief, I travel the world. This is the most racist country of all the countries I've been to. And I'm telling you, if you and I, as white and black people or people of color, do not get our shit together, it's done. And so really, I'm going to say this to the people out there. It is up to the white people. White people, stand up and start to fight against racism, because it will not end. We're the only people that can do it. And if you don't understand what racism is, reach out to me. I'll explain it to you, and you'll understand why it's important for you to be part of the change. That's it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to our visitors before we go?
No, I would like to say thank you so much. I love you so much. To the listeners, keep listening, keep coming back, share it with your friends, because these kinds of voices create change. And the only way we create change is by helping each other. So have a beautiful day, and thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll see you again soon, I hope.
Right on. We will.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, guys, how awesome. How awesome was that? I'm like on a all-time high. That was so amazing. So glad that he was able to come on. So this is the season finale, guys. It's been a great year. I've had some wonderful blessings that have happened. So many of my friends have had wonderful blessings that have happened, and I'm so very proud of so many of you guys. Yeah, he was very raw. He was amazing, and I can't wait to have him on again. There was so much more. I could have literally sat there and listened to him all night long. It was awesome, Justina. It was totally awesome. For you guys watching on Facebook, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. What do you guys think of the new setup? Being able to watch the show on Facebook, pretty cool, huh? Oh, Rick, I just saw your question. Oh my gosh. I will send him a email, Rick Mulligan. I just saw your question. I will send him an email and ask him that question for you, okay? And I'll get back to you with the answer on that. But for all of you guys that were watching tonight, it's been such a pleasure to have you guys. I really loved what Buck had to say. I'm sure that there are so many of you guys who probably didn't agree. There's some people out there who probably didn't agree with what he had to say, but I understood the place that he was coming from. I swear we're kindred souls, you know, like we're really kindred souls. Yeah, like everything he was saying, I was like, exactly. But I'm so glad you guys tuned in. It has been a great year. We will be back on the show on January 6th. January 6th, we will be back with season 2. Boop, 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 boop. Bigger, better than ever. Right here on the Transistor Radio Show on YouTube and Facebook, all at the same time now. But we'll be back here January 6th. That episode will be Trans Attraction 3. So it'll be the third part of our Trans Attraction series. You guys love the first 2 parts, and so we're going to be coming back with Trans Attraction Part 3. Coming up on January 6th. And then we've got some great, huge people coming on next year. We're talking to Jasmine Masters. We're talking to gosh, I'm forgetting names right now, but we've got some huge names that we're talking to, trying to get on the show. It is going to be an awesome year, an awesome season. So make sure that you guys keep tuning in. Tell your friends that we're here. For now, I want to probably say goodbye. If you are in the Orlando area, and you are going out tonight, Robert and I will be at the Parliament House this evening. We will be there for a little while for the 10 o'clock and the 12 o'clock shows. So if you guys are in the area, you look for something to do, come out and hang out with us at the Parliament House. We will be there tonight. We're actually getting ready to leave here in just a few. But otherwise, I want you guys to have an amazing holiday season. Merry Christmas to each and every last one of you guys. Happy New Year to you. Be safe out there. Make sure that if you're traveling, that you use all safety precautions. I love you guys for watching. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. So thank you. Thank you to David Fulton, my new producer. Thank you to my husband, Robert, who is my right hand, my producer. Thank you guys to all of you for watching. Cece, I love you. Cameron, I love you. Legion, I love you. Justina, I love you. Michaela, I love you. All of you guys that watch every single week, I love you guys. Thank you so much. So all of you guys that are tuning in on Facebook tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. It was an awesome experience for me. We will definitely have Buck back here again. But until later, thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas to you and your friends. God bless you all. Bye. Yeah, you can end it.